Dr. Buteyko had a different way of looking at disease and the body. Western doctors tend to look at disease as kind of like a mechanic looking at a car. You know, it's like something is going wrong and we need to get in there and fix it by using medication or surgery or whatever it is. But Dr. Buteyko viewed the body as being highly intelligent. And he believed that everything that happens in the body, your body is doing it for a reason. It's doing it to maintain its balance, or homeostasis is a fancier word for that. But it's your body is not just messing up. There's a reason behind what it's doing and the symptoms that you're experiencing. So the most simple example I could explain to you is with asthma. So if you accept the premise that an asthmatic is chronically hyperventilating, how is the body protecting itself by causing an asthma attack? Well, basically, the body understands that it's not getting enough oxygen in the cells, so it creates intentionally a bronchospasm or a spasm of the airways. The airways start to tighten up so that it forces the person to breathe less. And in that way, it allows carbon dioxide to accumulate, and it preserves the oxygenation of the person. So in that way, asthma is actually a defense. So understanding that, you could understand why medication that overrides that symptom might make you feel better in the moment, but it might not cure the problem. And that's just one example of a defense mechanism. We could talk about more later, but I just wanted to introduce that idea. But it relates to many different symptoms that you have. They're all in some way a defense. Sasha, back to you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, basically, Dr. Buteyko stated that when the level of carbon dioxide in the lungs goes down and becomes closer to zero, it creates a very dangerous situation for the body. Because if the level of carbon dioxide becomes zero, a person dies. So the body will do anything it can to prevent this situation. And it will create numerous defense mechanisms, which most people perceive as symptoms, as discomfort, often as a disease. But those defense mechanisms are needed because the body is trying to make a person, to make itself breathe less. So when we breathe less, the level of carbon dioxide in the lungs goes up, and the situation becomes less dangerous and eventually not dangerous at all. Robert mentioned asthma and a bronchial spasm, which is definitely one of the defense mechanisms. Another one is simply mucus. When the level of carbon dioxide becomes low, the body starts narrowing all airways by simply filling them up with mucus. So all airways become narrower and it's more difficult to breathe. And as a result, the level of carbon dioxide in the lungs starts increasing. Sleep apnea is another defense mechanism, the one which I personally like to call a beautiful defense mechanism, because it's actually very beautiful for me how the body stops breathing for a few seconds at night in order to increase the level of carbon dioxide. So in our work, we don't, I was going to say that we don't work with symptoms. We do work with symptoms, but we don't work with symptoms the way how how doctors sometimes or often work with them. There is no need to suppress symptoms. We address a cause of the problem, which is the level of CO2, which is breathing. So we train people how to change their breathing, how to breathe less. And as a result of it, the level of carbon dioxide goes up and symptoms become reduced or eliminated completely proportionally with this process. So that's why on Breathing Center website, you see so many testimonials from people who had all kinds of diseases and who say that they were able to overcome those diseases as a result of this training. Some stories are fascinating even for me, even though I worked with some of people who wrote them. Like, you know, it could be a story that a person was born unhealthy, was totally unhealthy for 60 years, then came across this method, changed her breathing, and became totally healthy. How is it even possible? It's, as I said, it's kind of almost unbelievable. And Dr. Buteyko would say that breathing is incredibly powerful. He would compare breathing or air with water and with food, basically 3 substances we take in. And he would say that we could live without food for almost a month. We could live without water for almost a week. But without air, we could survive only for a few minutes. So air, or how we breathe, is the most important component, for our health, and also the most powerful one. So Dr. Buteyko would compare breathing with nuclear power, and he would suggest that if you know how to work with your breathing, do it, because it could incredibly improve your health. However, if you don't, it's better not to touch breathing at all, because improper breathing could destroy health very quickly as well.